we're here with John, and he's actually built his own machine to do barrel drilling and rifling, which I thought was very impressive, and it also does reaming. And I'm going to turn it over to him, and he's going to give you the highlights. And we're going to start with the gun drilling process first. And I have a gun drill bit here, and I want you to take a good look at that tip. And I'm going to hand this to John because it looks kind of expensive. And then he's going to kind of explain it to you. You can go through the 3 steps between drilling, reaming, and rifling.
Yeah, that multi-purpose machine, which was inspired by Guy Lutard, who's big, or was big, with home shop machinists. So this is actually the spindle. And in the spindle goes your solid bar of steel that you're going to make into a barrel. There's 4 screws on each end. You dial indicate it in nice and carefully so it's spinning true. The drill bit then goes through a box to collect the oil and the chips. And if you can see from this end, it goes into the holder. And when you drill, this thread is controlled by the power feed, which is a gear reduction. And you're cutting about a 10,000th per revolution. So it takes an hour and a half or so to drill the whole barrel. But once this is set up, you can get this to enter the barrel. Over time, you have high pressure coolant. And the coolant's needed not only to cool and lubricate, but you have to be able to force the chips back out of the barrel because there's no pecking. It's a single continuous push. So we're running on this size 30 caliber would be about 800 psi of recirculating coolant. And the coolant enters the drill through the hose, hooks up to the back, O-ring sealed here, goes into the work, and then the chips in the oil are forced back through this V with a stop box here called a chip box, which is used both to center the drill, and interior is to catch chips and oil, and that would sit up right on the machine like so.
Drop anything important?
No.
John?
Since the oil is so high pressure, you got to be careful that you don't drill all the way through the end of the barrel. At 800 psi, you would destroy the shop faster than you could get to the off switch.
Not to mention deplete your coolant supply that's down in the sump.
Yeah, there's 15 gallons down here, and we're running 7.5 horsepower for the hydraulic pump, and we can control the back pressure here, which controls the pressure through the drill. So you stop about a ½ inch short, and you're done drilling. At that point, you take the barrel out of the spindle, put it on the bandsaw, cut it off, look through the nice hole you've made. The next step is to ream the barrel. And this is a reamer known in the trade as a pull reamer. And the cutting surface is on this side as you pull it through the barrel. So to do the reaming, you feed the reamer all the way through the barrel, bring it up to the holder, engage it again with a O-ring and a clamp. You feed oil, but now you only need a modest amount of oil because it's mostly for lubrication. Put the power drive on, and the reamer, as the barrel is spinning, is pulled through the barrel, and that brings you to your final reamed finish. After the reamer, you have to put the rifling in if you're going to use it as a rifle barrel. And that's done by pulling a single tooth cutter through the barrel. Now this is a grossly oversized model that I built for myself so I could understand what's going on. This part would be, in the real one, tool steel, and that's actually the cutting edge. The height of that is controlled by a ramp. The depth of the ramp is controlled by this nut. these would all be flush. This is the pull tube, and you're pulling it through the barrel. But, you ask, you do need a spiral. So if you look on our...
I'm gonna zoom in close for that. I'm gonna go handheld, and I'm gonna get in on your mechanism. Well, you're gonna do a full assembly, aren't you?
Yeah, we're almost there.
Okay. There you go. I'm gonna have him do that feed, and you watch what happens with the rack.
So we have a linear gear rack, a round wheel that then turns the shaft. We have a 90-degree set of bevel gears that's now turning this on the same axis as the barrel. By picking the main gear correctly, you can choose any reasonable rate of rifling you want. So for the rifling, you bring the guy all the way up. There's no power involved in this. This is all a hand operation. So this cutter, which in real size for 30 caliber looks about like this. This pin still needs to be trimmed. And it's pulled this way. That's the cutter. And like the other one, it is controlled by a ramp. But probably if you watch real carefully, you could watch the cutting bit go. There it is, all the way retracted. Here it's up pretty far. So, having this attached to the bit, having it attached to the cable's spinning, the barrel then is indexed for each rifling groove. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this one was 10 and this one is 5. So you can do 4 or 2. You can do 10 or 5. And I guess this was 6.
Okay.
But in any case, you use a stop pin, you stop it, you do about 1/1000th of it, cut it a 10,000th cut at a time, put the cutter back to the left, index the barrel, do it again, do it again, do it again, and after you've done a complete revolution, you bring the cutter up about a 10,000th of an inch and repeat it. And I have not yet done it, but I'm told it takes about 2 hours, about 40 times the number of grooves you have to do the complete barrel. But some of the finest barrels in the world, based on results of competition shooting, are still rifled by hand, single point tooling. So I'm looking forward to trying that. And then obviously the whole thing was just a wonderful thing to make, all the gears and parts and variable speed controls and motors.
Well, I got to tell you, John, this is a thing of beauty. You did a wonderful job on it.
Thank you so much. So I have a master power shutoff, which kills everything. And up here is the speed control for the power feed.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Yep.
This is the main spindle feed RPM. And then finally, this is the coolant gallons per minute, which is run by this VFD over here. That's the 7.5 horsepower oil pump.
Yep.
And it's been really a great project. Looking forward to finishing a couple of barrels. Probably wipe the whole machine down, give it a nice paint job, and either I'll keep making barrels or I'll find a buyer for it and move on to some other project.
Okay.
And Miller Aerowave, still a great welder, no longer made, and it will run AC or DC TIG or stick welding. Here's a little tungsten grinder. Run usually only with argon on that. Moving over here, we have the MIG setup. We have steel or stainless steel, bronze we've used, and then this is the wire feeder to do MIG aluminum, so you can put down quite a bit of metal. The tubes here are all different alloys for the TIG welder, and below it are the various parts and nozzles. And then moving over, there's a plasma cutter, which is great because a plasma cutter will basically cut anything that's conductive, where an oxyacetylene torch is limited to steel.
Yeah, you can cut copper plate, aluminum, they don't,
titanium, doesn't matter.
They doesn't care.
Then there's a clamp rack in the corner. Try to find a way to store clamps, which you never seem to have enough of.
Oh no, and you've got a wonderful selection there.
And our little surface grinder, which we do small jobs with. Oh, by the way, this is a hydrogen oxygen torch setup for gas welding aluminum. It's very clean. It's a little lower temperature than the oxyacetylene and really does a superior job.
Hydrogen, no kidding.
That is hydrogen.
That's an interesting reg.
It's one of those gases you really don't want leaking in your shop.
No kidding. I think
Because it rises,
as-
it fills the ceiling, and
Yeah.
a spark will ignite it very easily.
Oh yeah.
And we have a little in-house vacuum that we use on our surface grinder that kind of nice
Yep.
keeps it.
He's got a vacuum hose there going up to a central location for his grinding room.
And we do all sorts of belt grinding.
There's a newer Boyer Schultz. You're getting ahead of me, John.
Oh,
I'm,
sorry.
I'm still on the Boyer Schultz.
It looks newer. It's over 25 years old. I know our company bought it new, and it gets used but not abused, so it still
No, it looks
pretty
pretty
decent.
fresh. Your table looks nice.
Yeah.
I have an older version, like I said, 612 Deluxe with the built-in dust collector is what I have.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Berkey.
belt and disc grinding. This guy is a 4 by 48. And this one is set up to do wet grinding. So if you want to do heat treated steel.
Oh, look at that. You got a pan and a recirculation and
Yeah, we've got the bucket, the
that
pump.
there's nothing wrong with
And
that.
then this guy's a splash guard that keeps
Just a piece of felt and
Yeah.
it keeps you wetted.
you wetted and keeps it somehow from splashing out on you,
Very nice.
which is kind of nice. This is also Burking 20-inch disc grinder. I think it's 3 or 5 horsepower.
Wow, that thing's a monster.
Really, really hard to slow it down. Let me see what, yeah, 3 horsepower. It runs wonderfully.
Whoa,
Adjustable table. It has a place for a cross slide.
it does.
You can run it either clockwise or counterclockwise,
Oh, nice.
and really,
It takes a while to spool down, I bet, too.
it'll be spooling down for the next.
For the next, yeah, we probably should never turn that on.
Then we have a little Apex,
Smaller version, yeah.
which we use, not quite as sophisticated, but it works fine.
That's still a wonderful, wonderful piece.
And this is a Burking,
Let me jump over on the other side.
yeah. Another Burking belt grinder.
Mm-hmm.
We use either the nylon deburring belts or
That's a nice surfacing belt. Yep.
grinding belts up on the wall or
Okay.
behind us.
And there's his selection of grinding belts over there.
And this isn't something you see every day. This is a Sooner flex shaft, 3 horsepower flex shaft machine.
Wow, look at that.
In this configuration, I have it hooked to another belt grinder for handheld grinding, but you can put different belt grinding attachments. You can have handheld spindles. You can put an angle grinder on here, or just straight buffing wheels, polishing,
So
whatever.
you could climb under a car or work
wheels.
on a big piece or whatever, that you can't take the piece to the machine. You take the machine to the piece.
And it has a multiple speed gearbox here.
And that's just a gigantic speedometer cable going to that thing, huh?
Yes. Lubricated with Molly D grease.
No kidding.
So that's a wonderful gadget.
And I really didn't even know anything like that existed. What a wonderful piece that is.
It's kind of secret. A lot of it just, I don't know why they're not more well known.
Well, I
But
could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
exactly.
And here's a monster of a buffer. I don't think I'd want to wrestle with that thing.
That, in probably my humble opinion, is conceivably the most dangerous piece of equipment in the shop.
Oh, I can bet.
Given a big loose buff on the side, it will grab and throw and rip parts out of your hands. So it's really to be used with caution. It has so much power that there's no chance of you slowing it down. And in an accident where if you have a small buffer, you have some recovery, there's absolutely none here. But when you have a heavy job to do, it is the machine.
That is a beautiful machine. And look at this,
And
look at this Mama Luca here. Now there's a
it's
grinding wheel. That thing's got to be, that's got to be a 3-inch wide wheel right
Oh,
there.
yeah. A monster, a finer and a coarser wheel.
That's a
This one's probably 5 horse.
that's a 5-horse.
Yeah.
Same as your buffer. Your buffer's a
Yeah.
5-horse. And that thing probably takes a little while to spool down too.
With the weight of those wheels, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We have a
tool grinder.
carbide tool grinder with diamond on this side, the green silicon carbide on the other side, which is great for doing tool bits and scrapers and whatever
And also a Baldor.
strikes your fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, up in the shelves, we should have taken this blanket down.
Oh, the private stash. Oh, he's got buffing wheels for days.
Trying to keep them clean. Now we can do that nice. So we got wire wheels.
Mm-hmm.
We got some fairly aggressive buffs. We got some high polished buffs that are soft. And then we have what are called setup wheels that you make yourself with glue and different coarseness of abrasives prior to polishing. So you can get deeper scratches out or bring it to a uniform finish before you try to go on a softer wheel. And so this would be typical of the more aggressive buffs. It's woven, and that'll actually remove some metal, where the fine buffs really just sort of seem like they're melting the surface. So this would be a buff, just a nice soft buff for polish. Use that with rouge. And everybody should have a Mittler tubing bender.
Absolutely.
Has the hydraulic power cylinder and a couple of different sized guides. Have a ways to do balanced grinding wheels. You can put it on a shaft.
That's a big one. Good Lord.
Yeah. Here's the,
Yeah,
here's
that's
the
the
little
size
baby.
I'm used to seeing right
Yeah.
there, the little one.
Well, for this, well, we haven't gotten there, but when we get to the cylindrical grinder, you'll see why. Here's an assortment of buffing compounds, some miscellaneous tools. This is a smaller version of the Sooner flexible shaft, very portable. And on this one, you can see the speedo cable basically that comes out. And,
That, ladies and gentlemen, that is not your dad's Dremel.
and
That's a Dremel on steroids right there.
so these are often favored by truckers. They put a buff on them and they use them to polish those beautiful Alcoa wheels.
Oh, nice.
So it saves a lot of labor.
That's just 110 volt there, huh?
Yeah, that one's
Well, the portability
very
is there on that
portable
one.
and usable. This is a
Very nice.
cylindrical grinder we use actually in production. And these wheels, when they're full size, are pretty massive and use
I'd say that's a good 10-inch wheel.
at least.
Yeah.
I think when they're new, they're this size. 14 4x8.
Good Lord. All right.
So we use that larger setup to do the balancing. And then this is finally the precise control. It's in metric. So these are millimeters, but with this lever arm, you get, I guess it's hundredths of millimeters, which is really,
And where's this machine made?
this is
Oh, Italy.
Italy.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
GP
Ghirardelli.
Italia. Okay.
And the only thing we've ever had to do, this is a DC motor that we had rebuilt locally. And other than that, this guy's just been a trooper. Use it 3, 4, 5 times a week. And it just keeps going. Obviously, the wheels wear out, but the machine itself is just bulletproof. And it probably weighs about 5,000 pounds. It's deceptive. But this base
It looks like cast iron base.
is solid, and that's why they have some hope of getting the sort of accuracies that are available.
Cool. Nice machine. And yet another Burr King.
This was my original Burr King, which I bought when I lived in a condo, and I used it for making stock removal style knives. So this is, again, a machine that's 35 years old, bought it in 1980.
Wow.
And just going fine. I've modified it a little bit I put a larger motor on because I put a variable speed control on it. So to have the torque at low speed, we up the horsepower a bit. But it's just wonderful. You can see the amount we use it. We got tremendous assortment of belts that we go through fairly regular. And you can get belts as coarse as, I guess, 36 grit, designed for hogging stainless steel, all the way up to belts with no grit at all that can be used with polishing rouge.
Yeah, I've seen those coarse belts at work. They just destroy steel.
Yeah, this is like the destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a 24 grit version, but this is a really high-end 3M abrasive that has a fairly good lifetime on it. These are Trizec belts, which is a micro-replicated abrasive that is outstanding for polishing stainless. And the benefit of this type of abrasive is it will not, in principle, it doesn't scratch or leave scratches that are coarser than its grit. Very carefully made so you don't have any large particles in it. And with stainless, it's essential that every time you go to a finer grit, that you have no grits 1 or 2 sizes higher that are left, because you're going to end up getting stuck and having to go back and take them out. So we really appreciate the Trizec. And then this is simply a felt polishing belt. Hasn't been used yet.
So you'd apply you'd apply a rouge,
a
or
rouge
something.
to it.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So that's really nice. And then, like on the other machine, we have the nylon abrasives, and just a very versatile machine. And
you know what I just noticed here, and I'm standing here looking at this orange base. I'm going to pan you guys up at this thing. I'm standing under a sizable gantry here that just goes forever. And I know I just glared you out with that light, but good Lord, I'm just, every time you look at something, you see something new. So, John, that's impressive. How the heck did you get that in here?
Built
in
like a ship in the bottle. It was built in the bottle.
Oh, very nice.
We can get the forklift into this room, and so we were able to assemble it with the help of the forklift.
That's something else. And
we don't use it all the time, but when you need it, you need it.
Well, if you got to move that Baldor around, absolutely. Hey, let's go take a look at this Japanese machine.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to show you this Japanese machine, and he's already got it running. And I was just going to let you take a look at some of this construction. And let's take a peek at that tag. And take a look at that clutch. And John just actuated that clutch. And let me bring you out front here. Let you take a good look at that leaf spring. And I guess you'd call that center a buffer. But this is one heck of a hammer.
So the angle for the hammer, this is solid. My recollection was it was maybe 500 pounds.
I believe that.
And the moving hammer is about 50 pounds. The hammer heads themselves are interchangeable. They're just a sort of a taper lock fit. And the way this works, and I just want to put a piece of wood in there so we're not smashing metal on metal, but I can gradually apply the clutch and get pretty much one stroke at a time.
I'm going to back up. I want everyone to see the entire mechanism before you split that log. So I'm going to pan up high. Okay, hit it. Okay, toothpicks. You think that's got a little bit of grunt to it? Let's have a look at that. Good God. And you use that for folding steel.
Folding steel or just forging a knife blade. We do have an emergency stop here. Turn the motor off.
I want to get a shot of that counterweight in Japanese. No idea what that says. If anybody knows what that says,
please let us know.
Please let us know. It'd be interesting to see what that actually means.
And behind it is the exhaust system for the coke forge. So if we bring the coke forge inside, we have a way to vent it to the outside.
Oh, so you can stay close to your work and
Stay right.
move back and forth.
Right.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And then our traditional anvil.
Of course. Where's your hammer collection? Tom's going to want to see your hammer collection.
We'll get there.
Okay. Let's take a look at your press.
We can plug this in too.
Oh, we don't need to.
Okay.
I just want to go through it. You
So-
explain what it is and its capacity.
This is a 300-ton cylinder at 10,000 psi, which was an eBay purchase. And then I constructed the press around the cylinder, and we used it as a normal press for a while. Then as I got more advanced in my knife forging, I turned this into a press that has the ability then to hydraulically form or forge hot steel. We have different die sets that can be actually mounted into the head, and they pin in. Same on the lower. So we can do flat, we can do semicircular die,
Oh, yeah, very nice.
and somewhere I have squaring dies, and if you don't have them, you just make what you need, and it's great. Oh, here was the. So this has a matcher. If you want to, say, take a bar
Bend it like a Z.
or make it square, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or you can
We'll get you there.
offset it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Do that as well.
You can do some zigzags with that. Very nice. There's a portion of a hammer collection. Awfully nice. That's an interesting one. That's a beautiful piece.
Especially for moving sheet metal, as in car bodies or
Oh, I bump it around every once in a while.
decoration. Here's a smaller version of that flattening hammer.
Yeah, and that's nice and light, and you get into a tight spot. A hammer for every scenario. Slappers.
We've got slappers and mallets. Deep reach bumper.
Oh yeah. Well, the modern vehicles don't have the body contours like they used to have, so you don't need all those crazy points and angles and things these days. These days they just replace it with a little bit of plastic and they're done.
A few more hammers, a few more dollies. This actually, both of these are kind of interesting. These are magnesium.
This is magnesium?
Yeah.
Oh, this seems...
Which is used on aluminum because it has a tendency not to stretch the aluminum,
What do they
where a
do?
steel hammer will do much more stretch.
Is that one light like this one? And that's pretty light.
Homemade.
Beautiful thing. Oh, you made those yourself?
Oh, sure. Nice. And then back in the day, a friend had started a tool company. We have a number of T-anvils or dollies.
Mm-hmm.
Really nicely made tools. He also made some beautiful hammers. This one I haven't had the gumption yet to use, but it's still a beautiful piece.
It is.
But for our friend Tom Lipton, a few more hammers.
Oh, a few more hammers. Good God. Tom, I think you got a runner up here.
Here's a cutie.
That's interesting.
Like maybe I'm not sure, but it certainly could be like a silversmith's hammer for silver bowls or delicate metals.
All your hammers are in wonderful shape too.
That's having a 5 horsepower buffer and polish.
The buffer in the other room.
Back into
absolutely.
the humdrum.
Oh,
Couple
more hammers.
hammers.
And those are...
These are blacksmithing hammers.
Oh, absolutely. Here's John's homemade hammer collection. What are those handles made out of?
These are hex bar and stainless.
Okay. Brass heads, obviously.
Brass heads.
What the heck happened to that one? Got a little spray paint over there?
Yeah, probably. If it's not gluing, yeah, it's black spray paint.
Oh, and this one's got an interchangeable head.
Yeah, they're all the heads are threaded,
Oh, okay.
but it wasn't really so much design. Anyway, it gives you kind of a range from some serious thunking to light thunking to sometimes you can use this without a center punch. You can get into some place that you just want to have a little better access. But this was, for me, good practice years gone by to do the single point threading.
Absolutely.
Everyone's a different thread. So
absolutely.
that was kind of fun.
And internal. Did you use taps or did you do internal threading?
No, those were tapped.
Oh, cheater.
This is kind of because I like small micrometers. So
Oh, what a great collection.
I started collecting them. And we have some
And
various types.
And these are 0 to half.
Half.
Yeah.
Some of them are 0 to 12.5 millimeters.
Oh.
But basically they're all, that's an old Lufkin.
Mm-hmm. Look at this one's been rebranded 3M. That was probably a promotional giveaway or something like that.
Absolutely. A couple of these have company names on them. But really enjoy poking through eBay and seeing what's there. There's a metric guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Moore and Wright from England.
Mm-hmm.
So we have fun with all of those. And then, because we can't stop ourselves,
Oh, somebody stop me. Look at that.
we have a few other old mics around. Some are Brown and Sharp, some are old Starretts. One of my favorite things about some of these old mics are these old mechanical.
Wow.
You know, this was the changeover from being strictly a traditional mic, but before the digital readout, electronic digital readout came out. So there's a few different ones that you can look for. Starrett has a series. That was Slocum. It's a little bench mic.
Mm-hmm.
These are the two mics I use when I want to be pretty accurate. They're rate to 50 millionths.
You woke one of them up.
Yeah, they do that.
Yep.
So that one needs a new battery. But this actually is one of my favorite mics, and I'm not sure many people have seen these. This is made by Starrett, or was made by Starrett, and it has a button on the back, and when you push the button,
Oh, a quick release.
you have a quick release, so you can come right in very quickly, and then it acts as a
What's the
regular mic.
model number on
I'm
that?
sorry, it's a Starrett 204.
204.
It's
I wonder
really
if they
fun.
still. I wonder if they still make it.
I'm not sure.
That'd be interesting. To
I
find
know
out.
certainly on eBay they come up from time to time.
Yeah, viewers are always ask what the part numbers are if they see something different or cool.
This is my other interesting Starrett micrometer. This is
It's got two scales.
a automatic 10th reading micrometer. So here's your normal scale, and this on a spring, if you notice, actually will move
Slightly.
slightly, and you can directly read tenths off the red dial
After it comes in contact.
after it comes in contact. So you would,
That's pretty slick. And see that speed, you don't have to roll it up and down your arm
Yeah.
to get it where you want it.
so here you'd come in contact, and then you'd come over here and read the 9/10 in the red.
Okay.
So kind of also an unusual Starrett piece.
Yeah.
Some size standards and it's a little like for measuring rims, or I think they can refer to this as a can micrometer.
Can mic. That's for measuring the rim of a round, very thin cylinder.
So here's a appropriate micrometer for a big shop, about
It was about
28, 29, and I think that anvil on your left hand, you can bring that down an inch to a shorter anvil.
I think so.
So that's our big boy anvil. We don't get much use for it making instruments here, but there's certainly applications.
Okay, Adam, beat that.
There is. Hardware, here's some nice old Starrett.
Well, the hold downs.
The hold downs.
Mm-hmm. Those are great for holding thin parts.
And then Starrett, if you go to their website, you can request a lot of Starrett literature, and they mail it out to you for free.
They'll send you a wall
charts.
the
which we
wall decimal equivalent and drill sizes, tap and drill sizes.
Right there.
That's the one.
And we have thread gauges and feeler gauges. Here's a...
That tri gauge is my favorite right there.
Yeah, that's the most useful of them all. Little gauge for
wire
60
drills.
to 80.
Yep.
And then here's actually a little diameter gauge where you just insert it, and they're all tapered. And so as it stops, that'll tell you the diameter of the hole.
Oh.
So it's a very fast, easy way
To get
to
you at least
get
in the
get in
ballpark.
the ballpark.
It's probably not hyper accurate, but yeah.
And then you can go to the plug gauges.
Then you
and
go to
at
your
least
telescope gauges from there.
know where to start. And
Hey, what's in that Herman Schmidt box?
oh, we can go there.
All right.
So here's some files. Here's some checkering files. Here's some
Knife edge.
diamond knife edge,
Yeah.
dovetail files.
Yeah, I just spotted that Herman Schmidt label there.
Everybody should have some stones for deburring.
Absolutely.
So those are handy. This one's actually a little plate impregnated with diamond.
Diamond card is always handy. That looks like a rough one.
Yeah, pretty.
Oh, that is really rough. I keep a 600 on my bench.
Pretty handy. And here,
Adjustable
we have some
parallels.
adjustable parallels. This is kind of an interesting gauge that you don't see too much. These are in matched pairs. And what they allow you to do, they're tapered, and you put them together as a pair. They become essentially an adjustable parallel, but the backs are radiused. So what you can do is put this in a hole,
Let me get that profile. Turn sideways. I see the radius. Okay.
put them in a hole, spread them open till you're in contact,
Until they grab.
and then you can put a mic across them
Oh, just let them hang out.
and measure the size of the hole, say in lieu of a telescoping gauge.
Well, it seems like it'll be pretty accurate.
Very accurate. And
So that's going to get an average over the surface finish over the,
absolutely.
and they'll stay parallel no matter
Show
what.
you so 1/4 inch to 1 inch in this set. That's a Brown and Sharp product.
That's pretty slick.
I like those. Little mechanics dots. Here's a old-time center punch hammer.
Oh,
Has
yeah.
the magnifying glass so you can line up your punch
Dink.
and
Yep.
dink it.
They still make that to this good day. Still making that.
Some little picks and scribers sort of stuff. Some V-blocks, some clamps,
Just a few.
just some old literature.
Trigonometry
Just
table.
can't throw them out there.
No, they're too cool.
Too cool. And then for those who need the finer diamonds, I have a little set of
I think it's a DST set.
DMT.
DMT. There you go.
Here's a stone that got away. Okay, one more of interest, probably. Oh, well, we'll come. You want to come back to that?
We'll come back to that. More files.
A couple of more files. These I tend to use right here where I am, so
Yeah.
I keep them here.
What kind of box is this?
This is a nicely colored Snap-on box.
Wow.
I was friends with my Snap-on guy,
Okay.
and I would buy from him the dent and scraped, so they didn't have to ship it back to Michigan.
Oh, there you go. Tap wrenches.
So tap wrenches, nice
Nice selection.
assortment.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of an interesting one that allows you to turn it by hand, but you can also chuck it either in a lathe or a mill.
Mm-hmm.
This is a live spring center for tapping. That's kind of handy.
Spring-loaded tap.
Spring-loaded, yeah. This is all sort of stuff that's vice related. Some of it just has to do with soft jaws.
Mm-hmm. I love the urethane soft jaws.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this little sweetie pie here. A tiny little thing. Little toolmaker's vise.
Yeah. And so that's its bigger brother. And then these are some of the magnetic blocks.
Magnetic transfers. Yep.
Some other jaws, some more soft jaws. These are actually made by Aeroquip, and they were designed to hold all their hose fittings when you're assembling hoses.
I remember Aeroquip. Are they still around?
Oh, absolutely. Big time. All the aerospace hoses.
It's interesting. I'm
Yeah.
not really sure what those are.
I wasn't either. They came in, I bought a older toolbox, and that was just part of it.
A nice selection of chuck wedges.
Chuck wedges. That's just storage for our rechargeable
Oh,
drills.
there's a drawer. I have a ongoing feud with Milwaukee. Okay.
So here we got squares and bevels, or angle protractors. Here's
This is an interesting piece.
yeah, that's a little precision square. Huh?
Hey, look
With
at
a
that.
knife edge. Yeah. Now we know who designed those. This one I made.
Okay, is it hardened?
Yeah, it's A2 tool steel, hardened and ground.
How come you didn't cut out the middle?
Well, because now that it's hardened and ground, it's not so easy to cut it out.
No, it's
I was
not.
thinking of sending it to the water jet cutter, but I love the idea.
I should have brought you a set of squares. I got them on the shelf.
do you?
Yeah.
They're great. They're absolutely here.
They're a work holding. Oh, you made a pair. They are a work holding challenge.
Sometimes I made the pairs the same hands, so they're not really a pair, but two oddballs. But somewhere I have some pairs too.
Yeah.
And some other sort of micrometer stuff, depth mic box. I don't know what the depth mic. These are always interesting, designed to do cylindrical pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is? There's a little tiny inside mic.
Oh, that's a little baby one. Look at that.
It's a brown and sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else here is pretty standard. Wall micrometer and a disc
You
mic.
keep waking those Michitoyos up. Quit waking them up. Let them sleep.
This is mostly stuff related to dial indicators themselves, fixtures for
Oh yeah, you got a bunch of snugs in there, and
holding them.
mm-hmm.
There's I think this is the coax indicator for centering on a milling machine, or however you choose to use it. That's really a nice thing to have when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And a little sign bar,
Yep.
all sorts of odds and ends. This is just sort of miscellany.
Okay. Oh, the ruler drawer.
This is rulers, but this includes these wonderful electronic digital levels,
Oh, those are nice.
which are great for doing, say, if you need to mill something at an angle, you can simply zero them on the vise. put the-
surprisingly accurate.
Surprisingly accurate.
Yep.
And there's some historical plumb bobs for gauging oil tanks. And here's a Starrett.
Oh wow, can you even read the ruler anymore?
Yeah, not so well, but it's
Not bad.
not bad. So that you could use to, if you have a backyard oil tank.
Mm-hmm.
Guess we could turn it over for the folks. And it has the old Starrett name on it.
Yep.
It's a number 507.
507. And
First ever project.
Yeah, John's working on a bit of scraping.
There's that one, and those are both Anderson. That's a solid, and that's the tubular style.
So he's got both of his scrapers here, and he's been trying his hand. He's got a cast iron plate here. Let me show
Yeah,
you.
that's actually a well-known plate. It's made by Bosch, B-U-S-C-H, and it was sold on eBay unfinished. And there's a fellow in Canada that seems to have a lot of these old castings. That
Are they seasoned and ready to go?
yeah,
or?
seasoned,
Okay.
but not precise.
Yeah.
You know,
Are
so
they
the
milled?
difference is about $800.
Are they
you know.
milled at least?
Yeah, it was
Oh.
fly cut,
Oh, okay. So all right.
but ready to go. But just
And you're going to use that for what? Just a surface?
surface plate.
Gotcha. All right. Are you finishing both sides to get it all parallel, or just the one side?
I haven't decided. I've only started on the one,
Okay.
but obviously it's more valuable to who's ever using it if it is flat and parallel.
Right, and I'll take you over to his surface plate where he's working on it. And you can see here he's got his
The bluing.
transfer. Yeah. Are these in?
These are water soluble.
Now that's what's different about it. And,
Yes.
is these colors? Is that what I'm seeing here?
Yes.
You've got because they all have the same part number.
Right. but they're water soluble, unlike the
Dicam.
Permablue or
Oh, good Lord, that stuff will kill you.
and
Just the smell alone.
It seems in the professional scraping world now that blue dicam is not used very often. That
Right.
this water soluble has really become the way to go.
So, and are these the colors I'm seeing?
Yeah, they have a few other colors.
So you get them
too.
in red and yellow and blue just to make things easy on the eyes?
And there's a white and an orange I know about. Now, for instance, one of the techniques is to apply very, very thin coat of yellow to the workpiece. Wipe it with a rag so it's really thin and basically dry.
Uh-huh.
Then when you put the workpiece on the bluing, you get a much higher degree of contrast. And so it's easy on
So
the
you
eyes.
see your highs and lows.
See your highs and lows.
Gotcha.
Here's a few, this is another Tom Lipton design. This is a squareness comparator with his signature carbide balls on the bottom.
Yeah, I can remember. I remember seeing that one that he made. He's got the hinge plate in the back.
Same.
Yeah, he's got the little flex plate in the back, and you just adjust that.
Exactly. Oh, a homemade cylinder square.
How square is it?
Still being lapped in.
Still working on it, huh?
Still working.
Okay.
So then we have the bigger surface plate in the machine shop that we don't actually abuse like this.
you.